the show after the show. That's why we call it the after show. We appreciate you being here with us again today. We are streaming live on Facebook, on Twitter, audio streaming over on my website, justinbarclay.com, BARCLAY.com. And if you're listening to this later in the after show podcast, we appreciate you. Get that wherever podcasts are. Make sure you click subscribe. Always a pleasure. We appreciate you being here with us today. And, of course, lots to cover. The breaking news came down. Just as we were beginning the show, coming up at 10 o'clock, was breaking news.
It's a breaking news alert from the Wood Radio Newsroom.
At Facebook, this is no surprise, but Facebook and their advisory board, which is a panel of other woke folks at Facebook, it's really kind of a cop-out what they did. Facebook, the woke folk at Facebook said, we're not going to make this decision. We're going to pass this along to other woke folk who don't really work for Facebook, although they're paid by Facebook. They're going to be our advisory board, and they're going to decide whether or not they're going to continue this. And we're not really doing this. It's somebody else. But, of course, the woke folk who don't work for Facebook decided for the woke folk at Facebook that they were going to continue their woke folk policies of banning the president. And again, no surprise. He launched his own new website. I believe it's DonaldJTrump.com, which I don't know if that part is new, but there is a new portion called The Desk. That is new. And if you look at it, it's kind of like a feed like you would see on Facebook or Twitter or whatever. And he's been, no matter what you think about the president, he's been issuing, I guess, because he's been kicked off, permanently banned from Twitter, YouTube, and now Facebook. But he's been, now he's got this new platform. This is the first piece of it. Apparently, there's going to be a social media piece and component as well. But prior to this, he was, he was issuing these statements via press release. And now, if you go on here, you can see that he's got, he's got these statements now on his page, and I guess this is where you go to find out what's going on. So is this going to stop him? No, it's just like any other business owner, any other entrepreneur, I guess. You get, from time to time, you get problems, things that snafus that get in your way, and you say, okay, how do I work my way around it? Same with us. We had an issue with our Facebook page the other day. And so we've worked around. I actually think it made us better. I think sometimes these things that happen and they make you better. I think that's what we're seeing. In fact, we may actually see that happen with President Trump as well. This may force him to do something big. Maybe it's launch a social media platform and eventually takes over for Twitter. And for and YouTube and the rest of them. Who knows? I don't know what's going to happen. But I'll tell you one thing. I did not expect, and I don't know anybody else who was serious that expected Facebook to play out the way they did, or not to play out the way, but that expected that to happen, where they would, let him back on the platform. Not happening. Not happening. Lots of other big news today. If you missed the full show out of Antrim County, the lawsuit out of Antrim County, we talked to attorney Matt DePerno with some bombshell breaking news. I won't get into it all now, but they discovered lots of interesting things possible with voting machines. But they also, in this discovery part of the lawsuit, they added more people to the lawsuit today, the Secretary of State amongst others. And we'll find out Monday. I said, why don't they just let you look at the paper ballots and then all of this is done? We don't have to have these conversations about what did this machine do or that machine did. We could just find out. It would be transparent. It would be great information for everybody, everyone. And we could just move on with our lives. We got to fix this mess, though. And so that's what folks want to know, and they're digging in to find out. We will get the latest. Also wanted to talk to someone on the phone right now. It is Cinco de Mayo. So we are celebrating. And our good friend Jeff Lobdell at Restaurant Partners and the Beltline Bar, very famous, obviously, the wet burrito, the home of the famous wet burrito. Jeff, we appreciate you being here with us today. How are you, man?
Great. Happy Cinco de Mayo, Justin. Thanks for having me on.
I know you guys are celebrating like you do every year. Last year was kind of different. I noticed, saw in my Facebook memories, You did the strictly the to-go. You guys are open this year, though. Things are going to maybe look a little different than normal, but it's still, I think, a return to normal in a lot of ways because people are ready for a little fiesta. But
Yeah,
what did you say? I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you there.
no. It's I said, yeah, we're at 50% capacity, and we're still doing curbside to go. And it's one of the best days of the year. Everybody likes to go out and have a nice margarita, perhaps a famous wet burrito. And last year, like you said, it was all kind of to go only. We're still doing the party packs this year. If they want to order them to go, they can find them on our Facebook page or our website. They're Feeds the Family Six and includes all kinds of food, margarita, and some swag for just $100. Or come on down and celebrate at the restaurant with us.
Yeah, and listen, we gotta make sure we support these businesses. You guys have been through the ringer over the last year, on top of all the craziness and having to sort of pivot here and there and do different things. And then the governor says one thing, and then their Department of Health and Human Services says another, and they got to do that. And we found out recently too that it's come out that the Fauci basically made up the 6 foot rule, and it's no different. Or the study says it doesn't matter whether it's 6 foot or 60 feet. Like that. That's not even. There's no way that can make a big difference. So you guys are still operating though under the. Unfortunately, because the state has not changed any of their when it comes to how many people you can have in and how far apart they have to be from each other, whether they've gotten the jab or not, or any of these other things. You're still kind of under the thumb there, and you gotta continue to do what you got to do there. But you're doing your best.
We are doing our best, and we're trying to balance. Obviously, first and foremost, most important is everybody's safety, and we are following the rules. It's kind of uncharted waters as to what you need to do and not to do, but the rules are the rules. We follow those until the rules lighten up. But right now, we're finding there's a lot of consumer demand. A lot of people want to go out. They know that restaurants like the Beltline Bar are some of the cleanest, safest places in the community. And so our guests have been very supportive to Beltline Bar and our other 11 Grand Rapids area restaurants.
Yeah, and that's one of the things. Restaurants are always clean because, Jeff, it's like the hair salons and places like that. The idea that this pandemic would have changed, anything really for you guys. You guys are always clean because you always had to be absolutely on top of things, and now you're probably cleaner than you ever have been before.
Yeah, we sure are. It's a very safe environment. Everybody's doing their part. I mean, everything from the screening of staff before they come in, the contact track tracing that's available, the tripling down on sanitation, 6 feet apart, mask wearing. A lot of people are ready for this to be over, as I am and many others. Well, we are following the rules, and today it's more about helping service some of this pent-up demand and the celebration of Cinco de Mayo at Beltline Bar, but also wanted to talk to you about the need for more hospitality industry workers. They're great jobs. There's the opportunity out there when you're in a restaurant job, such as the ones we have at 4GR8 Food and Restaurant Partners Management. We put you on a learning path. So it's a great place to be. We have people within our organization that started off as a sandwich maker and now are senior director of operations and operating partners and general managers and district managers and all kinds of great jobs. Through the restaurant industry, you learn about business, you learn about production, you learn about administration, human resources. All these things that you get almost a little mini business degree when you start in a restaurant and work your way up into management.
I gotta wonder. You're not the only one. Yesterday I saw this, and I posted it online. A friend of mine had shared. There was a picture, and it basically said, "Hey, tough times right now for us with the restaurant. If you notice that maybe service is a little slower or whatnot. So it's just, we are short-staffed. Please be patient with the staff that did show up. No one wants to work anymore. We are hiring for every shift." And you got to go out to the folks who are working right now in the restaurants because it's hard to find. It's not just restaurants. It's manufacturing. It's all kinds of places. It's really hard to find people to work right now. Jeff, why is that such a problem as somebody who's just trying to keep the restaurant going?
Well, there's a lot of factors. I think people are staying home. A chunk of them are staying home, helping kids through school or helping loved ones. There are a lot of really not as fun. Restaurant jobs are fun, and they're paying more now than they ever have. There's some jobs out there that are less desirable that are, they've upped their wages to be competitive with restaurants, maybe in some instances a little bit more than restaurants, but they're not as fun, less desirable. So there's that temptation for those that want to go back. We're battling the unemployment battles that are out there right now that those are ongoing where, you can be on unemployment for a long time, and rather than go back to work, we hope that ends soon to some degree for those that are capable of working and feel it's safe to work. There's great opportunities. And then there's other jobs out there that have been newly created, stuff where you can deliver or Uber people around, and people are trying those kind of jobs as well. But I still contend that I've been in the hospitality industry and restaurants my whole life. It's a lot of fun. The wages are greater than they ever have been, and you can get yourself on a career path. So encouraging people to come down to Beltline Bar, have a margarita, go on our Ford GR8 food website, look up the great jobs that are available, and join our team.
Yeah, Jeff, we appreciate you and everything you guys throughout the community, all the great restaurants, some of our favorites, and Beltline Bar absolutely up there as well. We appreciate you, but thank you for sharing the word, and maybe we'll see you out there today. Stop by and get some good grub there at the Beltline Bar.
Would love to have you and your guests, and thanks for having me on. I always love talking to you, Justin.
You got it, Jeff. Make it a great day, brother. We appreciate it.
All right. Appreciate you. Take care.
Happy Cinco de Mayo. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, these guys can't get people to work, and one of the reasons is he mentioned that the incredible challenges with of course, the unemployment continues to pay. I saw manufacturing, another big challenge right now. Manufacturing, they can't get people to do manufacturing right now. It's like pulling teeth because people would rather sit at home, and who blames them? At some point, I say, well, if I could sit at home and make good money or just as much, why would I want to go to work? Why would I want to do that? I get it. I understand. I've been following this and thinking to myself, I will say, I can't imagine not working. For me, what I do, I love so much. It's a pleasure. It's a privilege. It's an honor to be here with you every day, to be able to do this. But to think about not, like, at some point not actually going to work, I can't imagine. And I think at some point we'll see people come back, but and it's a real strain on the system. But I will tell you another thing that's a problem, and maybe why we're seeing less people go to, because if they can get the unemployment and one parent stays home, because you're constantly juggling with schools and what. I think schools are open. I don't know, what day are they open now? We're not fully back in with these schools and daycares too. I just blown away at this, but my wife, her sister, they have two kids, and they're both, one just turned 2 and the other turned 1. Very, young kids. So they're both in daycare. Mom works from home. Dad works out of the house. And so they got to send these kids to get daycare. So mom is working from home because they moved everything back home. And so she is, she's sitting here trying to figure things out, how she's going to work, because the daycare is coming back and saying, we got to shut down because we've got, X amount of kids out, or maybe we've got a worker, a caregiver that's out or whatnot, for whatever reason, sick from not just COVID, but up from other things, or just they got to shut down. So they end up being closed more than they open. And so they'll call, or they'll message them in the morning, like last minute, and say, hey, we're not open today. Can you keep your kid home? Nothing we can do here. And beyond that, They were also asking, can you keep your kid home voluntarily for us? I mean, we're short staffed. Can you just keep if it's possible, can you keep your kid home? They pay $500 a week. $500 a week for that daycare. It's crazy. Nicole is saying she thinks mask is also a problem that get people back to work. Yeah, I think that's a good point. I don't think people want to have to wear them all the time. I think it's really tough for some folks to have to wear them all the time, you know? Jeff said, side note, I've noticed my money isn't going as far as it did last year. Just look at the gas pumps. I think we talked about this yesterday. We're up $3 a gallon, and some places even higher. It's crazy. So yeah, $500 a week for daycare, and they decided, why don't we keep them home? Why don't we just keep the kids home until we figure out, maybe we have another place. Grandma or grandpa are going to come over. My wife is going to come over a day or two here or there. But I had to ask because I'm just trying to do the math, right? I mean, that's just me. I'm like, okay, so 500 a week times 52 weeks. That's $26,000 a year you're paying in childcare alone for daycare by itself. So one of the parents, and I don't know, maybe it makes sense, but one of the parents maybe could stay home. If you're making 30 some odd $1,000 or a little bit, I don't know, a little bit more, maybe you do the math on that and say, because I'm only bringing X home. So what's the difference between me working and then the kids? So it's a lot of it. You have to do the math on it and try and figure it out and say, does it really make sense for us to do this right now? Especially when the kids are, you know, they're not coming, they're not even able to go most days. It's incredible. I know we keep an eye on this, and I'm thinking to myself, man, this is something. You know, yesterday we didn't talk about this at all, but Bill and Melinda Gates are announcing that they're getting divorced after 27 years. And I know people were kind of looking at this thinking to themselves, wow, there's no prenup either. That's a lot of dough on the line. That's a lot of money. Incredible. Well, it turns out they're working it out with each other, like the divorce settlement. There's not going to be a full, you know, battled out in court type of divorce, but they're gonna divvy it up. So I mean, they've got the largest philanthropic organization, I think, in the world together. So they have this big Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So how do they fight that out? How do they figure out who's going to do what and how all this is going to work out and what cause they're going to be involved with? I don't know, especially now that they're announcing their divorce. But you know, what's interesting to me is we've been following the latest on all the science and the data and everything else that they want us to do. And we've been told to follow the experts through this last year. And Bill Gates has been propped up as one of those experts. Well, if his wife wants to leave him, if he doesn't have it all together in his home, I don't know. It kind of makes me wonder. Does he have the qualifications to tell us how to live in ours? Aaron is suggesting that the divorce might be a smokescreen for something else. I don't know. I don't know, man. Nothing would surprise me these days. Jeff says Bill's making plenty off the jab. Yeah. I can't imagine. I just don't know. I don't know that I trust this guy for anything. And that was before the divorce, let alone now. I just don't know. And nothing against, you know, being divorced or anything like that. I mean, it's obviously sometimes things happen and we can't pretend to know everything, but you would think if a couple could make something work, 27 years together, they got all that money. You know how big that house is? They never have to see each other. They live in the same house. They never have to even see each other. They got different wings they could live in. They got different homes in different parts of the country and parts of the world. They could go to different homes. It's just incredible to me. So something must be really wrong. Something must be really wrong if, in fact, I don't know. If they have to decide they have to split. Here's another story. Yeah, I want to go. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? The internet has asked me, are you sure you want to go to this website? Well, yes, I do. This story, I don't know if you saw this. It was incredible. A flight, all kinds of crazy things are happening now on airplanes, especially these days, in the days of the Rona. So check this out. A woman on a flight to Hawaii gives birth above the Pacific Ocean. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to Hawaii. I have a couple of times. It's an amazing trip. Well worth it. It's absolutely amazing out there. But you're over the ocean. Like if you, well, it doesn't matter whether you leave from here or the West Coast, but you're over the ocean for like 6 hours. I mean, it's a full 6 hours. You're flying high above the ocean. They've got this story that apparently I don't know, maybe, I don't think they were on vacation. Maybe they were going home. But they were from Utah. They give birth. She gives birth over the ocean. The unexpected mother who did not know she was pregnant. Hang on. Let me see if I can get you some of the picture. Here is a baby was just born on plane. They say, look at that. It's incredible. Wow. They've got pictures that they showed. They did an announcement. Most of you probably heard there was a baby born on this plane, and they're clapping for the mom.
Remain seated for just a few minutes to allow a passenger.
They're saying, please remain seated to allow a passenger to seek medical assistance. They have the baby. 3 hours later, they land. Their people are clapping for them as they go out. But I got to say, like, I saw this video and the pictures they posted online. It's incredible. They have to wheel her out to get her out of the plane, and there's the baby. Everybody's saying congratulations. But I saw this, and I gotta say, man, let me see if I can pull the picture back. But I saw the picture because they had everybody around, and you know how crazy they are in planes right now about wearing your mask. I mean, you'll get kicked off of a plane if you even take a sip of water. It's like that. It's that nuts. So everybody around them is wearing a mask except for the mom didn't have one on and she was holding the baby. Now I know because my wife Lizzie just had a baby, but they don't require the mom to wear a mask in the hospital while giving birth. They don't require that. She's got to wear a mask while she's in the room and you know, allegedly, even if there's nobody else in there, right? I mean, she's got to wear a mask during that entire time, except when she's in labor. Then they kind of go, okay, maybe this is a time where she can take it off. Well, this woman didn't have her mask on, and I thought to myself, where's the overzealous flight attendant to come over and tell her, man, put your mask back. You know, you're having a baby, but put your mask back on. And as I pointed that out the other day, I thought it was incredible because, you know, somebody else said, and look, I think it might be Randy saying it right now, but yes, what about the baby? Somebody get the baby a mask. Folks, that's where we are in 2021. That's where we are now. I mean, get that little baby. I know she's a newborn, but God only knows. She could have the COVID in her somehow. You never know. Incredible. Some of the stories that come out these days. But yeah, and that's just the logic. That's the thinking. It's not logic, and that's the thing. It's not thinking. It's people just following out of fear. Hey, there is some good news. And speaking of babies, before we get out there, we'll leave you with this one here. Out of Lubbock, Texas, the town of Lubbock has decided to become a sanctuary city. You've heard a lot about sanctuary cities these days, especially when it comes to what? Illegal immigration. But this is a sanctuary city of a different sort in Lubbock. This is a sanctuary city for the unborn. It's a pretty incredible new law that was passed. Texas voters make Lubbock a sanctuary city for the unborn because they have now become the largest city to outlaw abortion in the entire city of Lubbock. This is good news. And I got to tell you, somebody who was adopted, this is a cause that's near and dear to my heart. But I read this story and I thought to myself, man, you can become a sanctuary. We've heard of like Second Amendment sanctuary cities or counties now all over the country. Texans now have voted overwhelmingly to make Lubbock a sanctuary city for the unborn by outlawing abortion. The ordinance makes Lubbock, which has a 2019 population of 2,229,943, the largest city to ban abortion in the country. Before Lubbock, the largest city to pass a similar ordinance was Big Spring, 28,000. According to the reports, there are 22 smaller cities in Texas and 2 in Nebraska that passed sanctuary city for the unborn legislation. Lubbock is the only town with an active abortion clinic past the ordinance, so that thing will have to be shut down. Praise God. The Lubbock County Elections Office released the voting results for the sanctuary city for the unborn ordinance, which was easily passed by a 62.46% to 37.54% margin, according to the Dallas Morning News. The ordinance states abortion at all times, all stages of pregnancy is declared to be an act of murder. It shall be unlawful for any person to procure or perform an abortion of any type at any stage of pregnancy in the city of Lubbock, Texas. The ordinance reads, it shall be unlawful for any person to knowingly aid or abet an abortion that occurs in the city of Lubbock, Texas. There are no exceptions or exemptions for women becoming pregnant as a result of rape or incest. Procedures performed to save the life of the mother, remove a fetus whose death was the result of a miscarriage, or remove an ectopic pregnancy are permitted. So those are important details, and I think good news in the scheme of things, especially in this day and age where, boy, I mean, sometimes it feels like you really got to search for it. You really got to go looking. But I don't think sometimes you have to go looking too far. You want the good news? We'd love to give it to you. You can get my good newsletter. Go to justinbarclay.com/good news with the latest. That's justinbarclay.com/good news. That's going to do it for the after show today, and more tomorrow. We will be joined by another individual who is challenging Governor Gretchen Whitmer to be the governor, and this is the latest in the announcements. Saw him speak over the weekend at a rally here in town. You'll hear from him tomorrow morning coming up on West Michigan Live. And as always, if there's anything that you'd like for us to cover or talk about, or maybe a story you'd like for us to share, love to hear from you. 616-201-3353. You can text me at all times. I'd love to hear from you, especially during the show. We'll be able to get your messages. If you haven't already joined the text program, do it now. 616-201-3353. All right, that's it for us today. Make it a great day. Wishing you the best. God bless. Until next time.